ai ko da ake cewa in je in yi wa Peter Obi mataimaki nace ni ban da matsala amma aka kawo karateriya ba mu ne ba mu da ilimi ba yan arewa ba mu ne sun kowa na raina mu ni yayansa ne a siyasa kuma duk abin da aka dauko sa karateriya da ilimi ni ba sa na bane a ilimi ni na da PhD a civil engineering rike makamai ba irin makamai dai maka performance din mu ma aikin da muka ba iri ɗaya bane a jihar su da jihar mun ce a kawo wanda ke cewa mu zai mazance ku kawo menene criteria da za a je ni masa saboda hakan an zo ma za a ce a kawo criteria ai hankali muke ake ko kuma wannan jama'iyya ai mu muke gina ta ba kamar PDP bace da duk muka zo muka haɗu waɗansu suka shigo ko APC kawai shikenan mutum ya zo ya taka hayi.
Rabiu Kwankwaso, NNPP leader and former presidential candidate, is finally lobbying Peter Obi to be his vice presidential candidate in 2027. What he is saying in this interview is that he is bigger than Peter Obi politically, that he is not only older than him, he also has PhD, and that he also performed better than Peter Obi when he was governor of Kano State, as compared to what Peter Obi did in Anambra State. And he doesn't have any problems working with Obi as his deputy in 2027, and that he and his party are willing to negotiate with anyone to form a merger or work together ahead of 2027 presidential election. This is impressive coming from Rabiu Kwankwaso. People shouldn't see this as him trying to take the shine off Peter Obi. Peter Obi no longer needs to prove anything. All he needed to prove, he has already done that in 2023 presidential election. No politician alive today can move to a new party within 8 months of a presidential election and eventually win the election. Yes, we all know he won it. He was robbed of the mandate. Imagine if they added Rivers State, Benue State, Akwa Ibom and other states where he won. It would have pushed him to about 13 or 14 states, won, including the FCT, while Tinubu and Atiku will be sharing 11 states each. It would have been very difficult for them to rig the election to Tinubu's favor. So no need trying to counter Kwankwaso's claims. He himself is aware that Peter Obi is the only governor in Nigeria's history that left a surplus of more than $150 million to his successor when he was leaving power in Anambra State. All this without borrowing a penny from any bank while in office. So he knows he's just merely campaigning. If we want to face the facts, Kano State that he governed for 2 terms, up till today, Anambra beats Kano in all developmental indices. Yes, despite Kano receiving nearly 50% more than Anambra State in federal allocations. A little jab about Kwankwaso being a bigger politician than Peter Obi. Let's look at the numbers from 2023 presidential election. In the region called North today in Nigerian politics, we have the northern region and the southern region. The northern region includes many parts of the middle belt. They do not see themselves as north, but they are called northern region. In that northern region, Peter Obi, a southerner, scored more votes than the entire votes Kwankwaso scored in the election. Anyway, the focus should be that this is a serious climb down and humbling for Kwankwaso, considering his disposition when Peter Obi approached him in 2022 to be his deputy. Not that Obasanjo and other people backing Peter Obi at the time didn't know about Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. They knew him. It's just that politics is a game of numbers. Yes, imagine if Kwankwaso's votes were added to Peter Obi's votes. That would already push him above Atiku Abubakar. Also imagine if Benue, Rivers, Akwa Ibom and other states where they stole his votes were added. Today, Kwankwaso would have been moving around as the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But he threw all that away because of his arrogance. He started out by saying that northerners will not vote for an Igbo man, that Peter Obi is an Igbo man. He went tribal, just like what Atiku Abubakar said in Arewa House in Kaduna, that northerners should not vote for a Yoruba person or an Igbo person, that they should only vote him, a northerner like them. Kwankwaso and Atiku Abubakar never gave a thought at the time that a fellow northerner in Buhari was about to leave power after spending 8 years in office. So look at where all that arrogance have landed Nigerians. Or was Kwankwaso playing a game of spoiler in the 2023 presidential election? Because if you consider what he said about Tinubu, Anyway, let's leave that for the end of the video. What is important now is that he has realized that his gamble didn't pay off. Whether he played the role of a spoiler to favor Tinubu or not, the most important thing now is that he backed the wrong horse. The person he backed, that's if he did it, has performed woefully to the extent that his people are complaining. Yes, there is hunger and hardship ravaging everywhere, especially the north, because the north already has more poor people than the south. Politics should be about turning the fortunes of the people. So there's no problems if someone has realized his mistake and is willing to lobby for a position he was being lobbied before, but he refused. Now that he's lobbying for the position, he wants to be able to sit in the room where decisions and policies are made for Nigeria, so that he can represent his people to make sure that their suffering stops. That's what politics should be all about. It shouldn't be about being in office, enjoying the trappings of office without changing the fortunes of the people. No. Since it was revealed by the PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary that Kwankwaso and P2B are in talks, and now Kwankwaso have come out to say openly that he doesn't have any problem being Obi's deputy in 2027, it should be a thing of joy for progressive Nigerians, because it means that opposition politicians are actually engaging themselves and planning ahead on how to remove APC from power in 2027. This is very important considering what is happening in Nigeria. Many people are disappointed that opposition leaders are not leading from the front. They are not leading in opposing the government. They are not leading with such a vigor that Nigerians expect, considering how the current administration members led from the front in 2012, 2013, 14 until the presidential election of 2015.
The letter is our protest against the rigging of Anambra election. It's against the rigging of Delta senatorial election. It's against the rigging of Oguta House of Assembly election.
So it's refreshing to know that they are talking behind the scenes, they are negotiating among themselves. They just need to put the national interest ahead of personal interest, yes. And it seems they are doing that because considering the fact that Kwankwaso said he is willing to deputize Obi, he's no longer saying it must be him that will contest the presidential election. He's also an admittance that Obi is the bigger politician, also recognizing the fact that the South should produce the president. That's what it should be. Everyone must rally around the most popular candidate in order to win an election against APC. Then when you get that prize, you start talking about how to share the money. If you don't win the presidency, you can't be talking about positions. It doesn't make any sense. That was exactly what APC did in 2015. They capitalized on the sentiments in the North at the time that the presidency should be in the North because that of Yar'Adua was cut short. They are right, by the way, and they backed the most popular candidate in the North, having won the North all the time he contested since the Fourth Republic. So every other person had to drop his ambition. They wanted to get the prize first before talking about positions, before talking about how who will be minister for this, who will be minister for that. So they backed the most popular candidate. All the opposition leaders today should do the same. And that most popular candidate must come from the South, so that you can sweep the entire South. Yes, apart from the fact that the hardship currently going on in Nigeria is supposed to reset everyone's mentality, they should also play the politics perfectly so as not to leave any stone unturned, because the situation in Nigeria has become an existential threat to Nigerians. They shouldn't joke about it. Forget about all they talk about using INEC, using police and all that. When Nigerians get to the bridge, they will cross it. Let's take a listen to what Kwankwaso said about Tinubu during the run-up to the presidential election.
If you see my friend Bola, you should tell him to take it easy, take good care of his health, and make sure that, because I love him so much, he's my friend, this campaign is very rigorous. It requires a lot of efforts and so on and so forth. So I hope he will take it easy, so that we can continue with the struggle to ensure one solid and prosperous Nigeria. So I'm so happy with that combination. My only worry is the platform. This platform, I don't know. I know he's a strategist, Bola Tinubu, He's a good man. I had reasons to sit down with him uncountable number of times from 1992 to date. The only thing is I don't know. I wish I would see him to ask him what he will tell Nigerians that he will do differently from what Muhammad Buhari is doing today. That's my serious concern for him. Ordinarily, if I cannot get it, I can recommend him